She calls 911. She says, somebody has killed my clients.
I got a phone call from my friend, and she said, did you hear what happened to the Shermans?
Barry and Hunny Sherman were one of Canada's wealthiest and most philanthropic couples.
These two leading business lights, social lights in Toronto, dead.
It's an atom bomb that goes up in Toronto and around the world.
How could this happen? Why did this happen?
From early on, the Toronto police are considering this a murder-suicide.
Not one person that knew them believed for 1 minute that it was a murder-suicide.
The police were, if you'll pardon the expression, full of shit.
I find out from my sources that the Shermans were victims of double homicide. That goes to press and everything explodes. I wonder if somebody's mad at Barry and they want to do something horrible to him.
I remember him saying something that's so weird about cutting off Barry Sherman's head and rolling it down the parking lot.
A family member had said, watch your back. The bodies were found in a seated position, like the sculptures in their home.
These were things that were done deliberately.
This crime just reeks of somebody they know, and maybe even someone very close to them.
His sister is suggesting that he's involved in the murder.
Why can't they find who did it?
Could this case remain unsolved?
I do think that one day the murders of Barry and Hunny Sherman will be found out. I have a theory of the case. I have a belief that I know who did it.
Hi folks, Reaper here. As you can guess, we're going to talk about Barry and Hunny Sherman's murder. Terrible, terrible tragedy. But that gives you a good background thanks to the Toronto Star. Again, we'll go with the Toronto Star, and we're going to explore the house and what the police think happened in the house. So without further ado, I'll cue that up. 1 sec.
Barry and Hunny Sherman, billionaires, philanthropists, were murdered in their home in December 2017. Using a mix of the Sherman home's real estate photos and Toronto Star images, I'm going to present the most likely scenario for what happened at 50 Old Colony Road. This is Hunny's Lexus SUV on the afternoon of Friday, December the 15th. Police were already inside going over the crime scene. It is likely the Shermans had been dead 36 hours. They were last seen alive together on Wednesday at Barry's Apotex offices. Hunny headed home first. She always parked here, to the left of the ramp to the underground garage and close to the side door. Here you get a better view of the door, which was often unlocked. Barry and Hunny rarely used the front door of their house. Later on Friday, their bodies would be taken out that way, carried upstairs from the basement and across a grand central hallway. The side door Hunny normally used opens into a vestibule leading to the laundry room, kitchen, and breakfast area. Hunny was likely home by 8 p.m. The only obvious sign of her movements inside the house after she arrived is the location of her iPhone. The realtor who discovered the bodies noticed Hunny's iPhone in a powder room friends say she never used, located at the front of the house. The iPhone, with its jeweled case, was sitting upside down on the edge of the vanity. Sherman family and friends speculate Hunny may have ran there to escape her attacker. There are two possible stairway routes for an attacker moving Hunny from the main floor to the basement. One is in the middle of the house, leading down from the grand hallway on the main floor to the basement rec room. The other is at the back, a spiral staircase which ends in the basement closer to the pool where the bodies were eventually found. It has been speculated by family, friends, and forensic experts that some of the post-mortem damage to Hunny's face was caused by her being dragged down the stairs. Two puzzling findings to note, given that Toronto police said there was no sign of forced entry when they arrived. First, an open basement window. With the house for sale, the wall under a window in a front room had been painted to cover water damage. The window was left open to air out the smell. The day the Sherman bodies were discovered, the realtor and clients touring the house noted the window was open about 6 inches. The other finding of note was an unlocked outside door near the underground garage where Barry parked his car. The rarely used door leads into a stairwell. Steps go up to the patio outside on the west side of the house. The realtor noticed that door was unlocked. It's possible this is how the killer or killers entered and left the Sherman home undetected. Barry Sherman would have driven his car down the ramp and parked in one of 6 spots. There are 2 exit doors from the garage, a small door into a utility room, and a double door into the hallway by the spiral staircase. The realtor touring clients that Friday morning discovered 2 items just outside the door near the staircase: a home inspection report Barry had promised to bring home from the office, and his leather gloves. The realtor, not realizing the significance, picked both up and put them on a knee-high ledge in the hallway. It is likely that Barry Sherman was grabbed at the spot his gloves and papers were dropped. The attackers would have then moved him past the spiral staircase and down a long hallway with the sauna and other rooms on the left and the garage on the right. At the end of the hallway is a door to the pool area. This is the pool room where the bodies were discovered. The Shermans were in what police have described as a semi-seated position. Belts looped around their necks were attached to a low railing. That brings us to a mysterious discovery. In a basement room near the room with the open window sat 2 life-sized human art figures the Shermans had owned since the 1980s. Created in a seated position, there is an eerie similarity to how the Shermans were positioned. Like the male sculpture, Barry's legs were crossed. The Sherman investigation continues. Police have told the Star they have a theory of the case and an idea of what happened, but police will not reveal if there is a suspect or suspects. For the Toronto Star.
So we've looked at the history of the Sherman murders. Quick opening just to give you the skinny on that, and then we moved to the inside of the house, which was just a great recreation by the Toronto Star and Toronto Police, I thought. And then now we have criminologist and former police officer Mike Arntfield on what the release of the suspect video could mean for the Sherman murder probe, and I'll cue that up for you right now and let him to describe what he has.
It's the most significant piece of evidence I think that's been released to date, at least in terms of soliciting tips from the public. I mean, one of the things that has bogged this case down for years has been the plethora of theories and potential motives. And I mean, it runs the gamut from some kind of murder for hire to something more rudimentary and personally motivated. If they're calling this individual a suspect, which is significant, that's not just a subtle distinction in semantics. To go from person of interest, which would include everybody potentially caught on CCTV, at bookending times of the murder, to go from that to suspect confirms, one, that they haven't been able to locate and exclude this individual or clear this individual, and two, that they have reason to believe that this person has some direct involvement. A lot of stock is being put in this very unique idiosyncratic gait or stride that we see in the video. The hope, of course, being that if this is a legitimate feature, maybe from an injury, it may have since resolved itself, but if someone in the public can say, you know, I know someone about that height who around that time had, you know, a sprained ankle, or was recovering from a sprained ankle and walked with that hitch. I mean, that's significant. And at that point, police can locate that individual ideally and see what connection they had to the Shermans. We don't know the gender of this person. We don't know the age of this person. We don't know what they look like. All we have is this, again, idiosyncratic stride that seems to be maybe due to an injury or due to something else. When you have sort of a unique characteristic like this, and you can share that with the public, and you have nothing else really to go on, it seems, it can be very effective. This individual has eluded, I mean, some of the most experienced homicide detectives for 4 years, They obviously went to great lengths to conceal their face and took other steps to avoid being identified. It would seem that you cannot rule out the possibility that this then defining telltale feature isn't some kind of misdirect or subterfuge. One of the theories obviously behind it is that we're dealing with a very sophisticated, experienced offender, referred to actually by the Supreme Court as an assassin.
Wow. An assassin, eh? An assassin. Isn't it neat how we phrase that, right? An assassin. You think an assassin is some sort of spy or, hired by somebody that's rich and powerful or whatever. Did Barry Sherman have things on people that were detrimental? And I mean really detrimental, either politically or whatever? Well, that's what I cover. So I cover the stuff that the mainstream media won't go near, and they're not going near this. So I stumbled upon this whole description of Justin Trudeau and how he could be responsible for the Barry and Hunny Sherman. This is in Press Corps. Justin Trudeau is the one person who had motive to have Barry and Hunny Sherman murdered. So let's go over this. It's quite long, so it's about 16 minutes, but it gives you a good description on the whole opening and everything like that, and the different police factions, the actual house, and the background of the murderers. So let's get into this. So there's only one person who had the motive to conspire to murder the Shermans December 13th, 2017. That person was being investigated by the RCMP for lobbying the commissioner at the time of the targeted murders. That person took extraordinary steps on the day of the murders to attempt to quash two ongoing investigations involving himself. Who had the most to gain by the targeted murders of Barry and Hunny Sherman? Justin Trudeau did. Justin Trudeau would have lost his seat in the House of Commons as a result of a court order dated 10th of November 2017, rendered by Kevin A. Alto, prothonotary, ordering the lobbying commissioner to unredact and that's in quotes, unredact the preserved redactions and deliver such redacted materials to the applicants. The court order was part of an Apotex, that's the company that Barry Sherman owned, lawsuit against the lobbying commissioner, federal court number T-761-17, Apotex Inc. et al. Versus Karen Shepard et al. Nature of the proceedings S.18.1, application for judicial review. From now on, I'll just call it the case. At the time of the targeted murders, just a sec here. At the time of the targeted murders, Barry and Hunny Sherman, the murders of Barry and Hunny Sherman were being investigated by the RCMP. Justin Trudeau's August 26, 2015 election campaign fundraiser for the lobbying commissioner, as required by the Lobbying Act. Advice to peace officers. During an investigation under this section, the commissioner believes on reasonable grounds that a person has committed an offense under this or any other act of Parliament or the legislature of a province, the commissioner shall advise the peace officer having jurisdiction to investigate the alleged offense and immediately suspend the commissioner's investigation. Okay, so the investigation continued. Number 9, the commissioner may not continue an investigation under this section until any investigation or charge regarding the same subject matter has been finally disposed of. The lobbying commissioner and Justin Trudeau were unable to quash the Apotex lawsuit court order, the case, rendered by Kevin A. Alto, prothonotary, before Justin Trudeau was convicted of violating the federal laws on December 20th, 2017. An attempt was made by Justin Trudeau to quash or end the ongoing RCMP investigation of his 26th of August 2015 fundraiser and the court order by replacing the lobbying commissioner. Wow, holy man, replacing the lobbying commissioner. Huh, that's a quick way to get rid of stuff, eh? On December 13, 2017, the day Justin Trudeau's 2015 election campaign fundraisers, Barry and Hunny Sherman, were murdered, Justin Trudeau had both the lobbying commissioner and the conflict of interest and ethics commissioner removed and appointed new ones. Wonder who the new ones were. Both commissioners were removed during two ongoing investigations by the two commissioners into Justin Trudeau's wrongdoings. Justin Trudeau was being investigated by the removed commissioners for accepting prohibited gift or other advantage. Providing food and refreshments at a reception constitutes a gift. Office of the Commissioner of Lobbying of Canada. Right there. Providing refreshments at a reception constitutes a gift. Office of the Commissioner of Lobbying of Canada. Justin Trudeau's actions on the day of the targeted murders on his 2015 election campaign fundraisers made Justin Trudeau a prime suspect. Justin Trudeau being convicted of violating the ethics laws days later on December 20th, 2017 made Justin Trudeau the one person to have the motive to conspire to murder Barry and Hunny Sherman too. And the ongoing RCMP investigation on his August 26, 2015 fundraiser dismissed the Apotex lawsuit against the lobbying commissioner over Justin Trudeau's August 26, 2015 fundraiser and prevent a conviction for violating the Canada Elections Act, accepting prohibited gift or other advantage. Wow, this gets dirtier as we go. A conviction for violating the Canada Elections Act 5022 meant Justin Trudeau would lose his seat in the House of Commons for accepting a prohibited gift or other advantage. At the time of the targeted murders, the RCMP were conducting a criminal investigation of Barry and Hunny Sherman's August 26, 2015 fundraiser for 2015 election candidate Justin Trudeau. The RCMP investigation was commenced using the Office of the Commissioner of Lobbying, OCL, tape-recorded interview with Barry Sherman on November 3rd, 2016. Boy, I'd like to hear that. A few days before the fundraiser, an investigator from the Commissioner's office visited Apotex headquarters in Toronto, where Sherman agreed to a tape-recorded interview. During the conversation, he openly discussed the other fundraiser held at his house August 26, 2015, which featured then Liberal candidate Michael Levitt, now an MP along with Trudeau. Sherman said his wife Hunny organized the logistics, that the guest list was somewhere between 100 and 150 people, and that he believed the proceeds were split between the Liberal Party of Canada and Levitt's Electoral District Association. A ticket reportedly cost $1,500 per person. That's according to Maclean's. So, because OCL launched an RCMP investigation of the August 26, 2015 fundraiser for Justin Trudeau based on the content of the tape recorded November 3rd by Barry Sherman, with lobbyist Barry Sherman, or a copy of the recording. The Apotex lawsuit is a federal court number, and they sued them, seeking a transcript of the Office of the Commissioner of Lobbying interview with lobbyist Barry Sherman. The Apotex lawsuit posed a serious threat to Justin Trudeau's political career. If Apotex was successful, the lawsuit would have provided compelling evidence that Justin Trudeau had violated the Canada Elections Act, accepting a prohibited gift or other advantage. So, prohibition. Here we go. 4779, para 1. No candidate shall accept any gift or other advantage that might reasonably be seen to have been given to influence them in the performance of their duties and functions as a member of the House of Commons if the candidate were to be elected during the period that begins on the day in which they deem to have become a candidate. Begins on the day on which they are deemed to become a candidate. Yeah. A gift or advantage means an amount of money if there is no obligation to repay it, and a service or property or use of property or money that provided without charge or at less than its commercial value. So both were done there. Corrupt practice. Every person is guilty of an offense that is corrupt practice who, being a candidate, knowingly contravenes section 4779, accepting a prohibited gift, blah, 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 and which he did. Consequences of illegal corrupt practices. Here we go. Number 3. Any person who's convicted of having committed an offense that is illegal practice or corrupt practice under this act shall, in addition to any other punishment for the offense prescribed by this act, in the case of an illegal practice during the next 5 years, or in the case of a corrupt practice during the next 7 years after the date of their being so convicted, not to be entitled to A, be elected or sit in the House of Commons. There you go. That should really be the only thing we need to read. Just a second here. Highlights of the federal court proceeding. The case provides compelling evidence that Apotex lawsuit was the primary motive for the targeted murders of Barry and Hunny Sherman, murdered because the lobbying commissioner couldn't defeat the court order of prothonotary, Kevin Alto, requiring the commissioner to unredact the preserved redactions and deliver such redacted materials to the applicants. Court order issued 1 month before the December 13th, 2017 targeted murders of Barry and Hunny Sherman. Court order dated 10th of November 2017, rendered by Kevin A. Alto, prothonotary, 16 days after Barry and Hunny Sherman were targeted and killed, and the lobbying commissioner tried December 29, 2017, to keep the redacted evidence implicating Justin Trudeau from being made public. Filed a motion for setting aside the portion of the order of the prothonotary A. Alto dated November 10, 2017, those portions of the order under appeal which preserved the redactions contained in Rule 318 Rule 318 record, and requiring the commissioner to unredact the preserved redactions and to deliver such redacted materials to the applicants. So Mr. Sherman would add something big and huge on Mr. Justin Trudeau. Now, here's the way, I think this is the way Trudeau fixed it. Justin Trudeau paid the office of the Commissioner of Lobbying $400,000, used federal funding, that's our tax dollars, in December 2017 to obstruct and defeat Barry Sherman Apotex lawsuit. Okay, let me read that again. Justin Trudeau paid the office of the Commissioner of Lobbying $400,000 and used federal funding in December 2017 to obstruct and defeat Barry Sherman Apotex lawsuit. He used $400,000 of our money to do that? Oh my God. In December 2017, the office received an access to special purpose allotment of $400,000 for third-party legal fees associated to legal challenges. And unanticipated court action against the office resulted in unplanned legal costs of almost $300,000 in 2017-18. These additional costs have been paid through the access to a special purpose allotment of $400,000 for litigation, lobbying, $400 for litigation, lobbying commissioner 2017-18 departmental results report. Wow, this just gets better, eh? Unbelievable. If you aren't pissed off by now, get ready. According to the case, federal court documents, PDF backup of the case made available on the NCIO website, a court hearing was to be held the 8th of February 2018 to address the lobbying commissioners refusing to comply with the decision of Kevin A. Alto, prothonotary, dated 10th of November 2017, that redacted the documents that detail the audio taped interview between OCL and the Office of Lobbying Commissioner of Lobbying. Barry Sherman must be uncensored and handed over to Apotex. The prothonotary order was made as a result of the Commissioner of Lobbying redacting Justin Trudeau's name from the material evidence in the ongoing RCMP investigation. Complying with Kevin A. Alto prothonotary order would prove OCL redacted Justin Trudeau's name from the OCL transcripts in order to conceal the OCL finding that Justin Trudeau was being investigated by the RCMP for violating the Lobbying Act. The RCMP investigation began with this statement. Let's see here. It's pretty hard to read. Okay, so this is what this says. There is a basis to conclude that the private interests of redacted Justin Trudeau were advanced to a high degree, and that a sense of obligation was created by Mr. Sherman's contribution to the 2015 election campaigns, wrote McIntosh in a recommendation to open a full investigation into this case. Wow. The Canadian Jewish News reported August 21st, 2015, 5 days before Barry and Hunny hosted the 2015 election campaign fundraiser for Justin Trudeau, that Sherman said he spent an hour with Trudeau last week discussing various issues, including Israel. A reasonable person would conclude that private interests of Justin Trudeau redacted were discussed advanced prior to Justin Trudeau's August 26, 2015 Pay for Access election campaign fundraiser. Justin Trudeau is a prime suspect in the targeted murders of this 2015 election campaign fundraisers of Barry and Hunny Sherman because of the Apotex lawsuit. Court numbered the case, and because of what transpired the day Barry and Hunny Sherman were murdered, December 13th, 2017. Justin Trudeau had Karen Shepherd removed as lobbying commissioner effective December 30th, 2017. Resolution of the House of Commons dated December 13th, 2017. The Senate and House of Commons have approved the appointment of Nancy Belanger as Commissioner of Lobbying on the recommendation of the Prime Minister effective December 30th, 2017. In Council PC number, there it is. The lobbying commissioners were removed during an ongoing Apotex lawsuit pertaining to an active RCMP investigation of Justin Trudeau and his August 26, 2015 election campaign fundraiser. Toronto Police Services stated that Barry and Hunny Sherman were in fact targeted. That means the murders were planned and deliberate, and if the police found evidence that money was paid to have the Shermans murdered, the murders were contracted. Murder is planned and deliberate when it is committed pursuant to an arrangement under which money or anything of value passes or is intended to pass from one person to another, or promised by one person to another as consideration for that others causing or assisting in the cause of the death of anyone, or counseling another person to do any act causing or assisting in causing that death. Criminal Code. The planned deliberate murders of Barry and Hunny Sherman resulted in ending the ongoing RCMP investigation of Justin Trudeau's August 26, 2015 fundraiser, dropped dismissal of the Apotex lawsuit against the lobbying commissioner over Justin Trudeau's August 26, 2015 fundraiser, and preventing Justin Trudeau from losing a seat in the House of Commons for a conviction for violating the Canada Elections Act, accepting prohibited gift or other advantage from registered government lobbyist Barry Sherman at Apotex. In a homicide investigation, that's motive. Okay, so yeah. Huh? And what do you know? Here's a copy of the document. Apotex Inc., Calvin Goldman, consultant. There it is. So we know the document exists. You know, it's on the NCIO webpage. I'll leave a link in the description. So back to the press corps thing here. Government documents provide compelling evidence that Justin Trudeau's August 26, 2015 fundraiser violated the Lobbying Act and the Canada Elections Act. There you go, and there's the document I just showed you a close-up. 2 days before Justin Trudeau attended the Barry and Hunny Sherman August 26, 2015 election campaign fundraiser, Apotex registered to lobby the Government of Canada. The date of Apotex registering to lobby the government of Canada was during the ongoing 2015 federal election campaign. Apotex registering to lobby the government of Canada during an election campaign, and 2 days before Apotex had hosted an election campaign fundraiser for the election candidate Justin Trudeau, informs Canadians that Apotex was seeking to influence Justin Trudeau in the performance of his duties and functions as a member of the House of Commons to be elected. Isn't that neat? And once again, there's the document. There's the regulation, subject matter details, arranging meetings with regards to building better bridges of communication between Apotex and government officials, discuss Apotex contributions to innovation and research development, discuss Apotex contributions to the healthcare sector, regulation, legislation relating to patented medicines. So he went over all of that stuff, all of it. That's what he was doing. That's exactly what he was doing. Here it all is right here. So consequences of illegal corrupt practices, and there we covered all of that. Canada Elections Act and all of that. Office of the Lobbying Commissioner, 10 things you should know about lobbying and stuff, and it tells you all the rules in there. So it's pretty obvious that Justin Trudeau violated the Elections Act right before his 2015 election to Prime Minister of Canada. I hate to say that, but according to this article, anyway, this was found in Press Corps. I'll leave a link in the description. But yeah, this is found in Press Corps, so they list all the stuff, the case and everything. You can go and find the case, so it's not a hard thing to find. He really did replace those two ministers right at that time, so the timeline checks out fine. Why aren't the Conservatives bringing this up? Like, he shouldn't even be there. If these were investigated, if these charges were investigated, how come he's even in the House of Commons? It's just another question we have to ask. Maybe it's a uniparty. Who knows, right? I'm hoping not, but thinking more day by day that it is, because they're just not mentioning everything. They're leaving stuff out. They're not commenting on the lamestream media news, who doesn't cover any of this stuff. Nothing. Didn't even touch this. I never saw this ever before I saw this article. And then I started putting the article together, and the article was like, holy crap, this is true. Or parts of it are. Parts of it are true. Geez, I mean, like they say in the other part, in a criminal investigation, this is motive. It's motive. It has to be investigated. Why didn't the Toronto police investigate this? I don't understand. Just don't get it. Anyway, that concludes the Barry and Hunny Sherman article. All of this is all it's all right there. I mean, there's the document itself right there. So the other page tells you exactly about what what they were doing in it. So anyway, have a great day, folks. Take care of yourselves and each other.